Hey guys, Ms. Pariso here to talk to you a little bit about how to set up a system of equations with word problems. This is really important and helpful actually when you have like two unknowns. And if you, however many unknowns you have is basically how many equations you really need to help you set up a system. So let's take a look at what that looks like with 3 example problems, and then you will try it out on your own with your 2 problems in your packet. All right? So if you want, go ahead and pause the video, read, see if you can come up with a system. Remember, a system is 2 equations, at least 2 equations. All of these will be 2, okay? All right, so here we have Bobby. He's bored with counting all of they sell a variety of bicycles. Some of them are tricycles and some of them are bicycles. So when you're interacting with this stuff, it's really, really important is to highlight key information. I cannot stress that enough. Like, you should be interacting with this problem. All right, so what are some things that we know? We know that there is a display of 18 bikes. And probably, to be a little bit more clear, would be like 18 total, like, bicycle things. Like, what do you call a group of bicycles? Because what if it's a whole bunch of different types of cycles, unicycles, tricycles, that kind of thing. Anyway, so he's got, the main entrance has a total of 18. And it tells us right here that some of them are tricycles and the rest are bicycles. Well, he's bored with counting the bikes, so he decides to count tires. All right, he counted 46 tires. And we want to figure out how many tricycles, how many bicycles. That's right there, our clue. Those are our variables, okay? It's telling us what it wants. We need to know, it says how many tricycles. So we want to know the number of tricycles, and we also want to know the number of bicycles. So we are going to use that to set up our variables. So I like to use, I'm going to use a capital T so that it doesn't look like a plus sign. But I like to use letters that represent the situation. Now, you can use X and Y by all means. It's just then it becomes like, well, you have to define it. Like, okay, I'm using X for tricycles and Y for bicycles. You've got to, this is what's called a let statement. We're going to let the variable T represent the number of tricycles and let the variable B represent bicycles. Well, what do we know about the tricycles and bicycles? We know, we go back right up to here, it says that there's a total of 18, and some of them are tricycles and some of them are bicycles. All right, well, we don't know how many of each, so we know that our first equation is the number of tricycles plus the number of bicycles will be 18. So maybe I have 2 tricycles and 16 bicycles. Maybe I have 10 tricycles and 8 bicycles, right? There's a lot of different combinations that we could have, okay? All right, so then we want to take a look, okay, well, what other, so that was like the first relationship. The other relationship that we talked about was that he was talking about tires. We know that there's a total of 46 tires. Well, how would you figure out, like, what would you do with tricycles? If I said that, for example, if I had 3 tricycles and 2 bicycles, and I said, how many tires would he have counted? Well, you'd be like, well, a tricycle is 3, so I'm going to 3 tires, so 3 times 3, that's 9 tires. And a bicycle has 2 tires, and I kind of picked out the same numbers, oops. So that's a total of 4 tires, so that's 13 tires. Well, what did we do? We multiplied the number of tricycles we had by the amount of wheels. So if T stands for how many tricycles, I'm going to do 3 times T, and that will tell me, again, this is 3 wheels per tricycle. So if I have 5 tricycles, then I have 15 tires. All right, and then my other part of my equation is going to be 2B, because it's 2 wheels per bicycle. And we know that when we add it all together, we're going to get 46. So now we have 2 equations, and we can use what we know about the substitution method to solve for it. So we could, again, look for that lonely variable. You could isolate the T and get T tricycles is equal to 18 minus B, or you could solve for B, and then you plug it into the other one, okay? And so you could find out by there. So right now, what we're just focusing on is the setup, right? So now we can use what we know about substitution to continue and solve and finish that question. And so it's really helpful that in this case, it's asking for tricycles and bicycles. You want to make sure you know what you're solving for and what your variable is there. So let me scroll down a little bit and let's do a little bit of work. I'll finish this one up just to show you what your work would look like. So I'm going to call that equation A, equation B. There's my system. So if it's asking you for a system, it wants the two equations. That's what it's looking for. And you should be using the same variables. So I'm going to rewrite equation A. So equation A, I'm going to solve for t. So t is equal to 18 minus b. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it into equation B. So 3t plus 2b equals 46. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in right there. Okay, so let me go ahead and scroll up on that. Okay, so here's my work. I got 3 times 18 minus b plus 2b equals 46. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. And I'm going to move that 54 to the other side and combine like terms. I get negative b equals negative 8. B equals 8. All right, so well, B, what did B stand for? Oh, my lights went out. B stands for the number of bicycles. So now I can go back up to that pink equation, that equation A. Well, if tricycles plus bicycles equals 18, and I have 8 bicycles, then that must mean that I have 10 tricycles. So my answer is 8 bicycles, 10 tricycles. And there's my answer. Okay, so again, if you use X and Y, make sure that you are defining what the X and the Y are. So that's what we're looking at. All right? Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so for these next two, I'm really just going to go through the setup for them. Okay, because that's kind of our goal. Everything else is that we now know how to do the solving. Let me see if I can get my light turned back on. There we go. Just had to move around a little bit. Okay. All right. So again, I encourage you, pause the video, see if you can set it up, and then check back in. Okay. All right. Hopefully you had a chance to read it. Okay. So if I'm scrolling through, I see that they sell 2 different types of coffee beans. We have an expensive one and a cheaper one. Okay. It's $8 per pound and the cheaper one is $4 per pound. The beans are mixed. Okay, so we're going to get a mixture of 10 pounds, and it costs $64. And so what it's asking for is how many pounds of each coffee is used. So that right there tells me what my variables are. So let's start with a Lut statement. And that's really just a key. That's all it is. So I'm going to say we had 2 brands. We have the expensive number of pounds, because that's what we're looking. We're looking for how many pounds. And I'm going to use E for that. And then I'm going to have the cheaper brand. And I'm looking again for the number of pounds because that's what it's asking for. I'm going to use C for that one. All right. Well, what do I know? I know that there is a total of 10 pounds. So I know that the number of pounds for the expensive plus the number of pounds for the cheap had a total of 10 pounds, right? This was, remember, this represented pounds, this represents pounds, and this number represents pounds. Okay, so notice how that equation builds itself. Well, the other total I know is that it's a total of $64. So this is talking about money. Well, if I wanted to figure out how much I spent on the expensive, wouldn't I just go $8 per however many pounds? So if I bought 2 pounds of the expensive, that's $16, right? So that means I'm going to take the number of pounds that of the expensive brand, and I'm going to multiply it by 8 to find the cost that how much money I spent on just the expensive brand. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the cheaper, but it's only $4 per pound. So that's going to tell me how much it costs, how much money was spent on the cheaper mixture. And then we'll get it from there. And so now, again, here's my system. And I would probably solve for E or C up here, and then you could go ahead and use substitution. Eventually, we'll learn another way that's also a little bit quicker, and in my opinion, it's my favorite method to use. But for now, use the substitution method. All right, and then for our last one, this one these are like popular questions in the math world. Apparently, we love to have you guess how much money is in our pocket or in our wallet and stuff like that. So here it looks like we don't have that much information, but again, pause and see if you can set it up. Okay? All right, so if we take a look at it, Julia has 15 bills. Okay, remember bills can be ones, fives, tens, hundreds, 50s. There's $2 bills. My grandma still sends me them in the mail. Okay, and we have another total. So essentially what we're looking for is like, what are the unknowns? And then usually looking for two totals. That's going to tell you how to set up your two different equations. Like, what is the relationship there? So it says she only has 10s and 5s in her wallets. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make my Lut statement. And I'm going to let the letter F represent how many, the number of $5 bills. And I'm going to use the capital T to represent the number of $10 bills, because I'm not wondering how much it is of the 10. I just need to know how many she has. All right, so I know that, so for example, if she had 3 5s and 2 10s, that would be a total of 5 bills, right? Okay, well, I don't know how many 5s she has, and I don't know how many 10s she has, but I know that when you add them together, it will give you 15. So that's that first equation. It's relating how many bills, how many of each kind. Okay, well, the other total is 110, right? That's the total value. Well, if I have 1 5 and 1 10, that's a 5 and a 10, that's $15. If I have 2 5s and 1 10, well, two times the 5, right, will give us $10. So I need to take, remember, F stands for how many bills I have. So if I have 3 5s, I need to multiply that by 5, because that's the money value of a $5 bill. And then however many 10s I have, I need to multiply that by 10, because that's the value. So if I have 5 10s, I'm going to multiply it by 10 and know that I have $50. So now I have created my system of equations that I can go ahead and solve. All right, now it's your job to try out those two problems in your packet, numbers 9 and 10. Take care.